Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. We are here up early, dead early, on another fantastic Friday. We're so happy you can join us. My name is Mark Daniels.
And I'm Gabrielle Gardner, and a happy Friday to you.
Yes, we've made it to Friday again. These Fridays has come around quick. I don't know. That happens when you watch the show and you're on the set. Like, we speed up time. But we're back to another Friday, y'all. We hope y'all had a great week and ready for another relaxing or productive weekend.
Absolutely. I want to say congratulations to everybody. This is your second week back to school traffic, and you have made it. Well, I guess you still have this morning to go. But in generally speaking, you have made it. We have made another work week. Congratulations.
Yeah. Second week of school is done. I feel like it's already a triumph. I feel like the end of the year is already here, right?
Yeah.
But no, we're just getting there. Just back to school, all the kids getting ready, getting back into the schoolwork, into that frame of mind. I've been looking at the different clubs and extracurricular activities for my children, and I kind of want to do some sports, but I also want to find something that's in the arts for them to try and balance them out, because it's one thing to tire them out, but you want to, give them a balance of both sides. So
Absolutely.
I don't know, what do you think about that?
Oh yeah, my mom, we did sports. She wasn't really a sports advocate, but she let us do sports, but she was really adamant that we would both learn how to play an instrument. So both my brother and I had to take music lessons, because she was like, worst comes to worst, someone will pay you to play this instrument.
Yes.
And it does. It teaches you a lot of discipline. It teaches you an appreciation for music. And I do think art is a very important part of who we are as human beings.
There you go. And, if you happen to be on the Titanic, you can be the last thing everybody hears when you're going down. That was a crucial moment in that movie. If they didn't have those musicians, that moment would have been more tragic.
I mean, it was poetic, but it doesn't really fit in my fantasy at all.
We would like to thank you again for joining us this morning. We hope you're having a great morning so far. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about the work of the school welfare unit in our Bridging the Gap segment. And we'll also hear from Special Services and Guidance Counseling in our Focus on Education segment.
Shakespeare in Paradise is here to talk about the festival, which starts on Monday, and we'll look back at our interview with psychologist Dr. Valerie Knowles about sexual violence interventions. TCL invites you to attend our Abaco Business Outlook next week, Thursday, September 21st. Registration is $120. Today is the last day for early registration at $100. Students can attend for $90, and a virtual ticket is $40. And now, let's check on weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Good morning, Bahamas. And first look at the weather at sunrise. We have a weak high-pressure system across the islands. That's going to trigger some light winds and some real hot temperatures over the next several days into the weekend. But still have a troughing that's going to cause some cloudiness with showers and thunderstorms over the southeastern islands. In your weather today, we're looking at partly sunny, hot and humid. You can expect a few showers, maybe isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the southeastern islands today. High temperature 92, heat index 107. Tonight, few patchy clouds, still warm, a couple of showers over the southeastern islands, your low going down to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 92 and 80. In Jamaica, 93 and 83. In Trinidad, 96 and 78. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 93 and 80. Across North America, Atlanta, 83 and 63. In Boston, 68 and 58. In Miami, 91 and 77. Dallas, Texas, 85 and 68, and Toronto, Canada, 68 and 55. As you go to the weekend, we got a trough for the southeastern islands, still out of peak, ridge of high pressure, but we look at a frontal boundary to move near the extreme northwest Bahamas on Saturday, and that's going to increase some clouds over the northwest Bahamas. Trough when it comes from our southeastern islands, so for the most part, we're looking at variable cloudiness with a few showers, but we expect some improvement by Sunday into Monday of next week. Though temperature daytime will be in the lower 90s at daytime, around 80-degree mark at nighttime. That puts our first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. The School Welfare Unit, or Child Protection Unit, CPU, seeks to promote the general welfare of the Bahamian student and fosters a closer relationship between the school, home, and the community. Here to talk with us about the work that they do are Stephanie Hanna. She's a social worker with the School Welfare Unit with the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting. We also have Sylvia Hanna. She too is a social worker with the School Welfare Unit, or the CPU. Welcome, and welcome to Bahamas Inside Rice. Thanks for being here.
Good to be here.
It's great to have you here on the show. I don't know if many people know about the work of the CPU, or the Child Protection Unit. So why don't you tell us, what are some of the responsibilities of the CPU?
Okay, the Child Protection Unit, we're responsible for a lot of stuff. Firstly, we deal with crisis intervention, and then also we deal with ongoing case management as well. In addition to that, we liaise with other professional institutions such as the schools, with the police, with healthcare practitioners, and our aim really is to protect us, the children in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Such an important role and an important job. You know, the children are our future. We have to protect them and guide them and mold them. What are some, give us examples of some of the cases that the Child Protection Unit may investigate?
Well, firstly, you would have neglect. And neglect is when a parent abdicates their parental responsibilities. They do not provide the shelter, basic needs, shelter, clothing, health care. Then we have physical abuse, and this is excessive force to punish a child.
Right.
This can include punching, slapping, kicking, throwing them into a wall, biting. Then we have sexual abuse and incest. Sexual abuse and incest is when children are used for sexual gratification. This includes oral, vaginal, and anal sex, as well as exposing them to pornographic materials. We also have verbal and emotional abuse, and this is when parents do not provide the love that children need. They belittle them, degrade them, call them names, and then there's abandonment. And this is when parents abdicate their responsibilities as well, when they leave their children.
Wow. Wow, just you describing that list of cases you investigated just kind of wrenched my heart to hear, just to learn that these are the things that are happening, and maybe not people aren't aware of it. So how does a case begin to get investigated? How does it get on your radar?
Well, first we deal with, at least, the cases have to be reported to the Child Protection Unit.
Right.
So we'll get like walk-ins, so persons come into our office, we'll have the police would refer cases, scan, the schools, as I mentioned earlier, even relatives would come in. So what we do, we take as much information as possible. So the thing is with that, we launch an investigation, we get the name, address, find out the particulars, and then move forward like that. And because there's so many different cases of abuse, we know we follow protocol to the T.
Right.
So the thing is, what we encourage persons to do, even if you call our hotline, give us as much information as possible, because with limited information, we don't have sufficient to start our investigation.
Right.
So even too, I know that sometimes when persons would call, and then when the officers would ask questions, it isn't as we're trying to be like nosy, but we need as much information to have a leg to stand on,
Right.
to find these children and to launch investigations.
The verified information, make sure it's credible.
Yes,
to make sure that it warrants, I guess, the next level of investigation. So tell us, what's the role of the school welfare worker or the social worker? What's a day in the life of a social worker?
Well,
in your unit?
technically, the school social worker deals directly with the school situations that happen in the schools.
Right.
So if there is a case of child abuse that's reported by the guidance counselor, the principal, we would go into the school and conduct an investigation. We would interview the child or other relevant parties.
Right.
And once that's done, children, if necessary, if they have to be removed from that environment, we would have to remove them. We would also ensure their safety as much as possible. So we We tend to liaise very closely with guidance because the guidance counselors are the eyes in the school, and they would refer as much as possible.
What are some of the outcomes of some of these cases, I guess, in where at the end of it all, it benefits all parties involved? I guess share some examples of how, you've investigated a case and it turns out better for everyone involved.
Well, I mean, for the unit, we just try to ensure that the children are in a safe environment. Like, that's priority. So in keeping up with that goal, if we have to do removals, we do to make sure that these children are in a safe environment. So sometimes they may be placed temporarily with family or even placed in our child care facilities. So my thing is, like, I want the general public to know, like, okay, once social services, if we contact you, it isn't like just when we reach, we come to take your children. Removing children is our last resort. So even if we have to place them up with other relatives, we would do that. But we just want to ensure that the children are safe. So if we have to refer the child as well as the relatives for counseling, we do that. And also we work very closely with the police and the court. So if we have to prepare a court report to make sure that the children are protected and the accused is brought to justice. So,
do you also recommend therapy or counseling? Does that come from your unit, or is that another?
We do write referrals to community counseling and assessment center. We do referrals to the crisis center as well. So like I said, like, we kind of bridge the gap between the victim, and we try to support the families as best as possible.
That's awesome. Because once again, what's most important is protecting that child.
Yes.
And trying to preserve their childhood. Let a child be a child, right?
And then also, it's like, what we try to stress to people is the child protection unit, the children are really our priority. So it isn't anything like personal. Once we get a call, we have to go. You see, so it isn't like we have some sort of vendetta against persons. We're mandated to carry out our duties as officers of the Child Protection Unit.
You have to do your due diligence. That's
Yes,
why
sir.
you've been established, right? So where is the School Welfare Unit or the CPU located, and how can you contact you guys if you wanted to find out some more information or report something that you might be
Well,
aware
we
of?
just recently moved. We were relocated. We were in Alexander House, which was on Robinson Road, but now Alexander House, which was on Robinson Road. But now we are at the rear. And for persons who need to contact us, they can call 604-4281 is the office number. If they need to contact, or if there's a case that comes in anytime after 5 and before 9 a.m., they can contact the National Emergency Hotline. That is 322-2763, 422-2763. And we have a new number for those persons who cannot remember a 7-digit number. It is actually 711.
That sounds easy and simple.
Very
is.
simple.
3 digits to dial, and you can change a child's life forever.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you both for being here this morning. The Hannas, no relation, Stephanie and Sylvia with the
Auckland
school.
strong.
With the School Welfare Unit with the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting. Thank you both for being here this morning. Such
Thank
an
you.
important topic, and continue to do the great work that you do.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Attention customers, next Tuesday, a major hurricane will cause complete confusion and chaos throughout the entire Bahamas. Water, phone, and internet services will be in short supply. Definite data loss is expected to all local and family island businesses.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Be ready with push-to-talk service that keeps you connected with your workforce with a simple push of a button. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Island.
Meet Leno, your bridge to the future. Wealth planning, investments, corporate services, trust services, pension administration, fund administration, outsourced accounting, and payroll. When you think of financial solutions, think of Leno. Local or international, company or individual, Leno can help. Our team of skilled professionals has the experience and expertise needed for you to strive. Your goals are our goals and our priority. Leno will guide you to the right financial solution with the knowledge, resources, and support you need. Give us a call at 242-396-3225 or email us at info@lenobahamas.com to get started. Visit our website, www.lenobahamas.com, for more information today. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Here are 3 young people who stopped attending high school and got disengaged in their educational journey due to the pandemic. Today, they are proudly taking their walk all over the place because they took advantage of BTVI's Smart Start initiative. All high school students in New Providence and the Family Islands can participate in free hands-on learning to improve employability. Learn basic literacy and numeracy skills and earn a BTVI certificate in automotive mechanics, beauty and construction trades, or fashion in only 14 weeks for full-time participants or 24 weeks for part-time. Don't count yourself out. Do what they did and enroll today. Email smartstart@btvi.edu.ds or call 502-6300 so you can take your walk anywhere in life.
Satisfying to own your own piece of paradise? The most important investment you can make in your life is real estate, and Fidelity has the solution for you. You could become the owner of a home or a lot on any of our beautiful islands. Come and talk to a loan officer and inquire about how you can fund your goals with a loan today. Because we know it means a lot to own a lot. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit any of our branches, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau, or 352-6676 for Freeport.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Today, we are going to find out about the support offered by the Special Services and Guidance and Counseling Divisions of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training. Joining us today are Sharon Clarke, the Assistant Director of Education at the Special Service Unit of the Ministry of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, and Clevette Gibson, Senior Education Officer in the Guidance and Counseling Departments of the Ministry of Education and Technical vocational training. Good morning, ladies, and welcome back to Bahamas Sunrise.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
All right, so I'm going to start with you, Ms. Clarke. Can you talk about what support systems are in place to address our students, and particularly our students with special needs?
Good morning again, and thank you, Gabrielle. Yes, at this time, or as we've known, the Ministry of Education has always had a very vibrant and dynamic special ed unit or department, which is the services are delivered throughout our schools. While we acknowledge perhaps we don't have as many as we want, given the archipelagic nature of the country, then resources are sometimes challenged or difficult to organize. But currently, we'd just like to say that we have a number of new programs that have been started, that have been established in our schools, particularly this year. We have deliberately went out and hired another administrator in the form of an education officer for special education for the senior level of students, or what we call the vocational level of students. And we have sought to expand our programs and bring back what many of us in the public would know as our pull-out system, whereby for our students who might be in regular education, so it's not just limited to special education, but even those in the regular classrooms and are having challenges with, say, math or reading or English, we have a pull-out system now whereby the special educator goes and gets the student, works with them on their specific challenge or disability, and they return to their regular classrooms, interacting with their peers and learning alongside their peers. So those are just some of the main initiatives that we have to support our students at this time.
And do you have any other initiatives that you hope to achieve in the near future?
Most certainly. We plan to continue the expansion of our programs throughout our family islands. We also have not in the works, but currently we have 13 teachers who are being trained by Barry University in the area of special education at the master's degree level. And we are so pleased with that, because in 18 months, our problems won't disappear, but certainly a lot of the difficulties will be alleviated, and we would be able to reach even more of our students. We have ongoing discussions with the University of the Bahamas, our national tertiary institution. Again, they're going to be mounting a program for training persons who want to be special educators as well. And the list goes on. Director, I must say, Director Mrs. McCartney Russell just shared last night on our national dialogue that the Ministry of Education is going ahead with the private-public partnerships, whereby we are going to be subcontracting for services with our private colleagues, let's say in speech pathology, in school psychology. And eventually we hope to get occupational therapy and physiotherapy, as well as rehabilitative therapy, rehabilitative services on board as well. But as you can appreciate, that takes some more planning and time.
Absolutely. And Ms. Gibson, I'll switch gears to you. Guidance counselors, this seems like a very big job, especially in today's world. How are guidance counselors reaching all of the students in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's amazing because, our geographical situation is quite different. Mm-hmm. And what we did, and this was when the pandemic began, we couldn't get into every school. And so we decided, all right, we still have to reach that child on the island, whether or not there are just 2 of them or 3 of them. The issues are just as severe and just as personal to them. So we have a virtual school counselor. Believe it or not, I am so grateful. The Ministry of Education has a young, dynamic, technically savvy guidance counselor who services any island that does not have a school counselor. As a matter of fact, if a counselor is off or if there's a counselor even in New Providence, she's available for each of those schools, and she does an excellent job there.
And what has the response been? You know, I'm sure that there were so many students on the Family Islands who may not have had access to a guidance counselor. So what has the response been to her?
It's been overwhelming. She's been able to put on virtual college fairs. She's been able to respond to grief, and we get a team together because there's about 11 of them who support her in terms of, virtual counseling. They volunteered to do this. And so she's been able to do career talks, all of that virtually, things that would have never been available to students on the Family Islands. We put it right in their laps. So everybody, it's an equal playing field. Everybody has the option. I'm really excited about that.
And what are the biggest or most important issues that you're seeing that students are bringing to their guidance counselors across the Bahamas?
Well, they're basically the same, but here are a few differences. We're seeing that since the pandemic, there's a lot of access to inappropriate adult material. And that comes with quite a bit, of baggage as well. They're anxious, they're coming back to school, fitting in those social skills. We still deal with suicide. A big deal for us is the community acceptance and the community access to drugs.
Wow. I mean, those are very, very important issues, and it's so great that we have our guidance counselors in the system who can, just provide that level of intervention and guidance in the literal sense of the phrase. All right, Ms. Clarke, how do special needs students access the resources that they need? Or how do parents of special needs students say, hey, my child, I believe, needs a little bit more support?
It's very, very simple. What we did a number of years ago is we had to kind of change the way the access route went, just to make sure that we maintain the integrity of the system and the services. So we had to ensure that all referrals coming to the special services area came through the guidance council at the school, because we offer holistic programs, and we wanted to make sure that a parent doesn't come in and say their child has XYZ and then the school knows nothing about it, because we work in tandem with the school. So the guidance counselor would be the first point of contact for us, because the assumption is that she knows the students, if not all of them, most of them. She has access to the teachers, to the administrators, to the parents, to get the kind of information that we would need. So our referrals all come. They begin at the school level with the guidance counselor. Now, I know persons saying, but what if you have a young child who is not in school as yet? We do make exceptions for that, and we would take the referral from their medical professional or their doctor or somebody who knows them well. So we try to make sure we cover all the bases. But as the name says, we are special services, and the 5 units that are housed under special services includes guidance counseling, speech therapy, school psychology, special education, and school attendance. And so, as you can see, it was very deliberate that we made sure we included all of those services to address all of the needs of our students.
I love that approach. I think that is so incredibly important. And Ms. Gibson, I'm going to close out with you. You spoke to some of the social ills that our students are facing. What is the approach that our guidance counselors are taking to help them address that? And how can a layperson who just sees someone in their neighborhood, a niece, a nephew, somebody they want to mentor, what are some tools to guide them in the right direction?
Thank you. Well, our counselors, the first thing we do is we get them in a large group. So that's where they test you out. They see, can I really talk to this person in the classroom guidance? And so we figure out there, what are some of the issues that need to happen? And then we go to group counseling, which is more specific, which means if maybe it's an academic need or a behavioral need or a social need. And we have about 8 to 10 of them there. Individual counseling and referrals to that very same section that we're in. Special services helps us tremendously. Your guidance counselor, for the most part, is like your general physician. All right. We can tell you what's wrong. We can tell you what's right, but we need to know for sure. And guess how we know for sure? We send you to the specialist, that person who is in that service. I would advise anyone who sees a young person who's in trouble, refer. There's got to be someone in your church, at the school is always the guidance counselor. You can trust the fact that they've qualified themselves to be able to assist. I just want to add one thing. This year, parents, we are coming. Parents are so vital to what's happening. You are not left out of this system. We're not only coming when they make issues. We're not only coming when they're on top of the grade. We're coming because we want to partner with you, because when you have success at home, we have success at school. So parents, look for your counselor. We're coming.
I can't tell you how much I have enjoyed this series, just learning about all the excellent things that are happening at the Ministry of Education, Technical and Vocational Training. It's really been great to see the collaboration from the ministry, public sector, private sector, and of course the parents who have the highest vested interest in our students. So ladies, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you to all of our viewers who are watching. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Today, Bahamas at Sunrise.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Hey Mom, can you look after Kaylee?
Sorry, I'll be out for a while dealing with my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been? Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage a claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's N-U-A. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers.
And welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another fantastic Friday, and we're at the mid-show. Thank you for sticking with us. My name is Mark Daniels.
And I'm Davriel Gardner, hoping that you are having a happy Friday.
Yes, and we had a great first half of the show. I had a chance to speak with the folks from the Child Protection Unit, just learning more about what they do, and just as she was listing some of the cases that they investigated, it's just hard to hear that, but these things do happen. And you have children that are victims, and then you also have parents and guardians who probably also haven't been taught how to manage their emotions, how to raise children. There's a lot to unpack there, but I'm glad that they're there doing their work and hopefully helping children in need.
Absolutely. Actually, my parents have been volunteer teachers to some of those parenting classes. Awesome. So it is a little close to home, and it's great to see how a lot of parents sometimes, like you said, they don't know. They're just modeling the behavior that they would have seen, and when they are given the resources and when they're given the opportunity, they really do rise to the occasion and show up for their kids. So very encouraged. I was also encouraged by my discussion with the representatives from the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, and getting used to that entire phrase. But just about all of the exciting things that they are, and it's all adding up to what's happening to really better the youth of our country. So that's a great inspirational morning.
Keep learning. You learn something new every day. There's always a chance to better yourself and continue to evolve. And we're going to evolve into the second half of the show. Thanks for sticking with us. We're going to look back at our interview about sexual violence interventions with psychologist Dr. Valerie Knowles.
And Shakespeare in Paradise is here to talk about the festival, which starts on Monday. But before all that, we'll take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Valerie. Good morning, Bahamas. And your second look at weather at sunrise to take a trip around the tropics. And this morning we have a hurricane, we have a tropical storm, and an area watching. And so first we're talking about Lee, Hurricane Lee at 5 a.m. this morning. Was located at latitude 34.4 degrees north, longitude 67.5 degrees west, some 250 miles to the northwest of Bermuda. It's moving to the north at 16 miles per hour. Those winds are now down to 85 miles per hour with higher gusts, but we expect some more weakening to take place. And then we have Tropical Storm Margot this morning, and at 5 a.m. was located in latitude 36.7 degrees north, longitude 38.6 degrees west, some 135 miles to the west of the Azores, moving towards the east-southeast at 3 miles per hour. Those winds are now down to 70 miles per hour. That too will start weakening. And then we're watching a broad area of low pressure located midway between the Cabo Verde Islands and the Les Antilles. And this could become a tropical depression in the next couple of days. It has a 90% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 48 hours to 7 days. On the local scene, weak ridge of high pressure across the islands will give us light winds and some hot temperatures over the weekend, but we have two little systems, one to the north, one to the south. We have troughing to the south that will kind of elevate our rain charges in the southeastern islands, and then over the Grand Bahama area on Saturday into Sunday, a little weak frontal boundary moving that area, and so we elevate rain chances in that area over the weekend. And so in your marine forecast, those winds today, north, northeast at 10 knots or less, seas 1 to 3 feet, but you have the northeasterly swells up to 8 feet. On Saturday, northeast to east at 10 knots or less, seas 1 to 3 feet. Again, those swells up to 8 feet, but they'll start starting on Saturday evening. And on Sunday, those winds light and variable, seas 1 to 3 to northwest Bahamas, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, or the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide at 8:44 this morning. Your next low tide will be at 2:55 this afternoon. High again tonight at 9 p.m. Sunset, 7:13 this evening, rises more at 6:55. UV index 9, your water temperature 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and your moon phase, new moon. External look, we look at some clouds around tomorrow in the northwest and the southeastern islands with some showers, possible thunderstorms, a mix of sun and clouds on Sunday, and then we have partly sunny skies the rest of the week. The temperature daytime will be in the low 90s daytime, at nighttime around 80-degree mark. That pressure of your phone look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Welcome back. Today, Bahamas at Sunrise starts a new 6-part series discussing sexual violence interventions. There's a lot we don't understand, and we want to dig deep to get the facts about this critical issue and understand how we as a people can combat the problem. We're starting our conversation this week with clinical psychologist Dr. Valerie Knowles. Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, such a pleasure to have you here, up dead early, speaking about such an important topic. So can you define what sexual assault is, and is there a spectrum of sexual assault?
I think I'm going to define sexual violence because that allows us to open up the spectrum. Yeah. So sexual violence is any sex act that involves a non-consenting person. And we have, at one end of the spectrum, completed non-consensual act, like rape. Then we have attempted non-consensual completion. Then we have what we call abusive contact. That would be the touching, the groping, fondling without consent. Then we have what we call the non-contact sexual violence. That would be exhibition, flashing, verbal harassment, threatening to violate you, using words as a weapon in a sexual contact. It's called non-contact. Right. But I also want to add to that, though, so you need to think about that spectrum. And also think about it in terms of a stranger violence, you have intimate partner violence, and then you have acquaintance violence. And depending on what it is, they either use physical force or they use deceit or psychological trickery to attain the same goal.
I wouldn't have thought about the spectrum being so broad, but as you explain it like that, it does make sense. So going to what we would understand as the most extreme part of the spectrum, discussing rape. Is the basis of rape the inability for somebody to control their sexual urges, or is there something else that lies behind?
I think that's a very, very important question, simply because there are many persons you don't naturally equate sex with violence. For many people, sex is something pleasurable, and so it's a confusion when you put the two together. So when you talk about just now the whole idea or the thought about violence being related to being unable to control urge, that's what we call a rape myth. Now we have about a lot of them, 15 of them. I'm just going to talk about 3 just to give you an idea. Okay, one of them is that the sexual urge cannot be controlled, and when a man, I'm using man because that's our evidence base, gets to a certain point, he just loses control, cannot be held responsible for his behavior. We expect as persons to control violence, but not rape, right? And so we have another one that says all sexual contact is pleasurable, right? Another myth that says, again, that women really want sexual contact, but decency doesn't allow them to ask for it, so they don't have a problem if you take it. Another myth we have at the end of the day, it's no real harm as far as they're concerned. And so what you have are these combination of statements, right? He really didn't mean it, right? Women lie, right? There's no harm really done. She really wanted it, and perhaps her nose weren't clear. So when you have that a range of we call it myths running through the society, they could promote, I call it misbehavior or violation. But okay, you asked me 2 questions really. One about rape myths and one about what lies beneath it, right? And so we have those persons whose behavior is just coming up ignorance, poor education, rape myth. Then we have those persons who have weaponized in a perhaps context. They use the sexual act to revenge, anger with somebody they really know. Because if they want to inflict the greatest harm on a woman, the society says if you've been violated sexually, that's the worst thing that's going to happen to you. We have some mentally ill people who, from bad experiences in the past, may have a compulsion. And then this is one that many persons really don't want to take seriously, is that there are some persons who see violating a person is just like theft. It's a form of theft. I see a car and a shoe that I want, I go and I take it regardless of your thought or feelings. So that's the normal, we call it a pro-criminal attitude. So there's no one theory that covers them all, and some of them are a combination of all of them.
So in all of this, I've heard the term of victim blaming or victim shaming. How does this manifest itself, and how do we prevent ourselves from falling into this train of thought?
One of the interesting things I didn't mention is, we talked about rape myths. Rape myths exist because they function to excuse the perpetrator and blame the victim, right? So the fact is, if you believe then that, and persons don't focus on the fact that rape happened because somebody chose to violate you, unless you can activate that as put me in that victim status, right? We have all these anticipation about how women are supposed to behave. And so when women don't behave a certain way, then they figure they deserve the violation. And I think also we blame our victims because we have one of those other myths that men are really decent people. That ordinarily, you need there's probably some strange in the back road smelling of rum. That's who does raping. The decent men out on a date don't rape. And so we find ways to because they believe that the women are the persons and their behavior trigger men, back to the rape, their behavior is uncontrollable, right? They really don't mean it. And you're a lie anyhow. So as soon as you open your mouth to say you've been violated, no, that's not true. Right. And that becomes your problem.
And it is a problem. So rape victims, are they victims forever, or is there a clear path to recovery that's tried, tested, and proven?
Rape victims are victims as long as society holds them into that role. But there are some psychological issues that have to be worked out, right? But what part of the problem is we allow so much power to the act simply because in the old days and perhaps today too, the value of women was tied to a certain extent to their sexual behavior. And because we don't separate the sex from the violence, they look at it as simply a sexual behavior that they didn't approve of. They blame the victim. They have a way they expect victims to behave for the rest of their life, and that's all outside, and that's cultural and that norm. As soon as we recognize that we are more than the sum of our body parts, and women recognize that I'm not going to allow this to affect all of me forever in my life, I'm going to step forward. I think part of the challenge we have too is that double edge of the secrecy, right? Even though we say protecting the identity of the victim, I understand that too, but the very fact that we keep it secret reinforces the idea that there's something wrong with you, right? And so we have to figure out how to balance both of them at the end of the day.
So can people recover from sexual assault? And just give us a brief story of somebody who's recovered.
I've been a child psychologist for about 40 years, right? And I'm telling you, I've seen people who've been violated. And here's the other thing. Of course, we had the news, oh, she's ruined for life, she'll never be anybody, because of their perception. Women who've healed, who formed relationships, who have children, who are now grandmothers, and who have decided, you know what, I'm not even going to hang around people who want to continually stigmatize me and blame me. I'm gonna try and contain the impact that I could, and the therapy has helped them significantly. And there are many, many untold stories.
Well, that's very positive.
Oh,
that's
yes,
a positive outlook. And we unfortunately have to wrap up this segment. I feel like we can speak about this all morning, but you've touched on some of the critical issues here. Those rape myths, I'm glad that you laid it out like that, so that we're all aware of we might be perpetrating these knowingly or unknowingly. And, you know, blaming the victim, shaming the victim, that's another one we have to be aware of. But it's also not a doom and gloom sentence. And then there is recovery, proven recovery, and persons like yourself dedicating your life to helping victims of rape and sexual violence. So I'd like to thank you for being here this morning for our first session on sexual violence interventions. And I think we kicked it off with a wonderful start. Thank you so much.
No problem. Nice being here.
Yes, thank you for being with us, Dr. Valerie Knowles, clinical psychologist. We look forward to seeing you again. You're watching Mamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
The 19th Abaco Business Outlook is coming up Thursday, September 21st at the Abaco Beach Resort as we discuss the theme, Forward, Upward, Onward Together, in celebration of the nation's 50th anniversary of independence. Keynote speaker, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, Minister of National Security, will be joined by a diverse slate of speakers who will address issues impacting tourism, commerce, and stakeholder engagement. Don't miss this valuable networking opportunity. Register now at tclevents.com.
Welcome back. The 15th annual Shakespeare in Paradise Festival starts on Monday, September 18th and runs through October 7th. You don't want to miss this. I can tell you myself. Here to tell us more about this is Philip A. Burrows, Artistic Director of Shakespeare in Paradise. Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us about year 15 of Shakespeare in Paradise and everything that we can look forward to.
Okay, year 15, yes. It's been we have 4 productions this year.
Okay.
We start with Short Tales, which is in its 5th year. The Short Tales is something that we started to help develop new playwrights, new directors. And what it is 10 short plays. Mm-hmm. We sent out a call. We have about 50 plays that are submitted. And we have a selecting committee that chose 10 of those plays. And they're all new plays. And some of the people are new directors. We have, they cast their actors and they come out, and this is our 5th year of doing this. So we've had quite a number of plays that have been written and produced over those 5 years. One of those plays actually turned into a full-length play, and that was a play called First Comes Morning, which opened our year of Bahamian theater back in October, part of Shakespeare in Paradise last year, and opened our year of Bahamian theater. So we expect that a number of other plays will be extended, but it gives an opportunity for new playwrights, new directors, and so that's the first offering. The Shakespeare this year is As You Like It. And I did an ad recently which says, "This is not your father's Shakespeare," and it's very different. It's being directed by Sarah Burnett, and Aaron McKinney and Stephen Hanna have been working on the scripting for this particular work. So it involves a lot of improv, it involves audience participation, and it's very different from your, typical Shakespeare production. So that's going to be the thing. We have an international performer coming in this year, Deborah Ann Bird. Our Shakespeare team saw her when they went to Prague for the Shakespeare Theatre Association and just thought she was brilliant. So we've invited her to come in as our international artist this year. She's doing a play called Finding Othello, a Bahamian, let me get it right, a black girl's journey. And this is a one-woman show. And all of our plays are going to be in the Black Box Theater, but her performances are going to be in the National Art Gallery's amphitheater and in the theater at Bahamas, the gallery there. And finally, the play that we're doing again is Winston Saunders' You Can Lead a Horse to Water, which is probably the most critically acclaimed, most traveled Bahamian play in Bahamian play history. Okay, so that's the 4 works that it's actually Becoming Othello is the right title. It's the 4 works that we're doing this year in the festival.
I've learned my lesson from Shakespeare or just experiences past. I'm going to buy my tickets early so I don't miss any of these events. Shakespeare in Paradise is something that I absolutely love and look forward to. Now you mentioned, you kind of touched on the fact that you had a year of Bahamian theater.
Yes.
Talk me through that.
We were sitting around, my wife and I were discussing what we could do for theater for the 50th anniversary of independence. And we came up with this bright, sometimes we call it stupid idea because it's a lot of work, but we decided that we would do a Bahamian play every month. And we would represent, a lot of people don't know how many Bahamian authors there are, how many playwrights there are. Some people know people know Patrick Raming as a singer, but a lot of people didn't know that he also wrote plays. So we sat down and we worked out as many Bahamian we left out some, but we decided to go through and we started with 2 new writers, the same play that we developed out of, or they developed out of Short Tales that turned into a full-length play. And we opened with that. And then we had Sam Boodle, Susan Wallace, Jeannie Thompson, James Catlin, and the list goes on of the playwrights that we focused on. And we're ending with Winston Saunders, which would have given us 13 plays from October to October. Very difficult task. I had a fight choreographer in town recently who was working on You Can Lead a Horse to Water. And he said, "Are you guys crazy?" He said, "There are no theaters in the States that does this."
Wow.
He says, people normally do like 4 plays in a section or whatever, but 13 plays? He says, "You guys are nuts." And we were like, "Yeah, I guess we are." But, it was our way to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Bahamian independence.
It's a fun kind of nuts.
Yeah.
15 years of Shakespeare in Paradise. How do we make, it's hard to do anything for 15 years. How do we make 15 years of one of the best, production festivals that I've ever seen?
Well, it's the volunteers. It's the people who love theater, who are interested in theater. My wife and I were talking just last night about how people say that a lot of things start in the Bahamas, the first annual, second annual, and then it dies.
Yeah.
And so we always said this thing that, once you get past 3 years, then you're established. Well, I said, we're 5 times past 3 years right now, so we're pretty much established. But it's difficult because it's a very small group of people that do this. We have a committee of about 7 or 8 people, and people work for food basically. Yes, right now. That's what's happening. And we have just done it. We have just pushed it out. We've done it. We've just, from 2009 when we did the first one, we just kept going, and it's difficult, but very, very rewarding. And our patrons are the best because they know the standard that we have. Yes. And they come out, they expect to see something of high quality, and they get it.
Absolutely. I can say personally, I'm a huge fan of Shakespeare in Paradise. The level of production, all of those things are just things that draw me in. Right. And so, like I said, I have to be organized. I have to get my tickets. So tell me, where can we get tickets?
Oh, tickets are at the Dundas box office. Box office runs from 11 in the morning until 6 in the evening. The numbers are 393-3728 and 394-7179. And you can also get tickets on Eventbrite online. So you can go on, you can see the schedule, you can get the tickets. We have each production outside of Becoming Othello will have 6 evening performances. And each production will also have 4 matinee performances. So we have 10 performances to be seen. Mostly we have students who come to the matinee shows. I can say right now, before we even open on Monday, we have a sold-out matinee and a sold-out evening already.
Wow.
So people who wait till the last minute, that's what it is.
And finally, I have to jump in because we're out of time, but for people like me who want to see as many shows as we can, is there a bundle offering?
Yes, you can actually get a season ticket. If you decide you want to go and see the 4 shows, we'll put together a package. We also have we have discounts for students, we have discounts for seniors. So it's a lot of things. You just call the box office and talk to Dorian or Reds, and they will tell you exactly or just go online. You can see all those things right on Eventbrite as well.
Yeah. I'm definitely an Eventbrite person. Thank you so much for joining us
quite
this
welcome.
morning.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I hope that you're excited for Shakespeare in Paradise because it is going to be excellent and you're going to really, really enjoy it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Starting this August and every month thereafter, the Bahamas National Statistical Institute will be conducting the Quarterly Labor Force Survey. This household-based survey is designed to produce quarterly labor force estimates and deliver important information, including the number of persons employed and unemployed, employed persons classified by occupation, and more. If you're 15 or older, we encourage you to participate. For more information, visit bahamas.gov.bs/statistics.
Hanna say, boy, my island's in the sun, 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 sun. Bring it up now. Hanna say, boy, my island's in the sun. Carnival time is here. That's when I turn to party. This love and I got to get so, boy, my island's in the sun.
Fly free from Nassau. Visit BahamasResidence.com for details.
The 19th Abaco Business Outlook is coming up Thursday, September 21st at the Abaco Beach Resort. Join us as we discuss the theme, Forward, Upward, Onward Together, a bold vision for Abaco in celebration of the nation's 50th anniversary of independence. Keynote address by the Honorable Wayne Monroe, Minister of National Security. Speakers are Daphne Gregory, Latia Duncombe, Chantel Sands, Lasagna Missick, Linda Davis, Sheandra Newton, Carl Archer Jr., Cyprian Gibson, Ian Pratt, and Samantha Lookie.
Don't miss this valuable networking opportunity. Register now at tclevents.com or call us at 322-7505 or 6. That's Abaco Business Outlook, Thursday, September 21st.
Well, it has been another fantastic Friday here on Bahamas at Sunrise. I have asked Mark to stand with me and indulge me because I had to really give you all a good look at my beautiful ensemble, this jumpsuit that I got from African Things. It was sponsored by African Things. I got such overwhelming feedback about the red dress, the hand-painted Nigerian red dress that I wore a few weeks ago, and this is some Ankara fabric all the way from West Africa. And you can find things like this and so much more. You can actually get custom pieces designed, and I had to just shout out Yui at African Things because he really hooks me up.
Boom. Get your African Things from African Things. This does look great. And you can find men's wear, women's wear, children's clothing, all types of stuff there. Go get yourself all decked out in your fashion. Yeah. Enjoy your weekend. Go buy yourself a new outfit. Go sport it around town.
And don't forget to sign up for the Abaco Business Outlook, which is happening next week, Thursday, September 21st.
We'll see you in Abaco or we'll see you online. But have yourself a great weekend and see you on Monday.